वेलकम टू द नेक्स्ट लेक्चर। आज हम बात करेंगे कि हाउ वी कैन यूज रोबोट्स फॉर इमरजेंसी रिस्पांस इन फॉर्म ऑफ स्वार्म्स। Swarm is a kind of collection or formation of various quadrotors or drones which are put together in order to perform a specific task by coordinating with each other. Here on this slide, an experiment has been shown in this picture in which it has been studied that how one can use the teams of robots in emergency response. Besides, there could be an emergency call or a disaster that naturally has been occurred. तो उस केस में इससे पहले कि हम ह्यूमन रिस्पॉन्डर्स को वहां पे उस सिनेरियो पर भेज सकें, we can deploy a swarms of robots which can monitor the scenario and record the evidences. और obviously evidences को record करने के लिए these quadrotors or drones must be equipped with the downward facing cameras and microphones as well. Here we are interested in determining how to coordinate actions of teams of robots and how to create artificial swarms. What information must robots communicate with each other and how do they coordinate their actions? And also we are interested in that how do they cooperate to perform tasks that they individually cannot perform. And another thing that we are interested in is that how do they collaborate with different types of robots. Certainly, nature has many examples in which individuals coordinate, cooperate, and collaborate to perform tasks that they individually cannot perform. This is an example of desert ants, where they cooperate to carry objects back to their nest. Here on the next slide, we have another example of coordination in which millions of birds are cooperating with each other to make the complex patterns at the shore of Denmark. Here we have another example in which some ants are making an artificial bridge to reach from one place to another. In all of these examples, individuals coordinate, collaborate, and cooperate. And we are interested in learning from these examples and building artificial swarms. Here are three organizing principles for collective behavior. First, it is clear that in all these examples, all the individuals act independently and there is no leader in the swarms that is telling every individual what to do. Secondly, all actions are based on only the local information. Again, there is no mechanism for sharing information so that every individual has the same global picture. The third is there is a paradigm of anonymity in the play here. The individuals are anonymous. It really does not matter who you are collaborating with or who you are coordinating your actions with. When we build robots, we try to preserve these three principles. On this slide, here is an example that illustrates a cooperative task in which robots coordinate their actions to build a three-dimensional structure. In this particular experiment, the robots determine on the fly who gets to pick up what object. Each object is a truss-like element and then who gets to place them in what position. By coordinating their actions, they will be able to build complex three-dimensional trusses. In each of these examples, the robots only have the information about the CAD model for the truss and they are able to determine how to coordinate actions and how to plan their trajectories in a safe manner in order to accomplish the task. Now let's look at the mathematics and the complexity of this problem. This is a complex task. Imagine you have n robots and m obstacles. If you look at the state space, the dimensionality of the state space grows with the number of robots n. For one robot, you might have a state space consisting of its configuration and its velocity. For n robots, you essentially have n copies of the state space. So the complexity of whatever operation you need to perform, whatever calculations you need to conduct, will grow as n increases. So if we have n number of robots, the number of potential interactions with the neighbors increases as n square. So apart from the neighbors, the robots must be worried about the obstacles cluttered in the environment. So the number of potential interactions with the obstacles increases as m into n. And the m here denotes the number of obstacles. So the overall complexity will become m into n plus n squared. Now finally there is a question of who gets to do what. This is the so-called task assignment problem. If the robots have a number of goal positions to choose from, the problem of which robot gets to go to what goal position can be formulated as a common problem, and the complexity of this grows as n factorial. In this slide, we have a picture that illustrates this particular problem. In this picture, we only have 3 robots which are denoted by S1, S2 and S3, and we also have 3 goal positions which are not labeled and only written by G, and these are highlighted with red circles. The first decision the robots have to make is who goes to which goal position. So now this is the labeled problem where the robots have decided. So after solving the assignment problem, now robots have decided that to which position they are going. S3 has decided to go to this goal position, while S1 has decided to go to this goal position, and S2 has decided to go to this goal position. Mathematically, this can be described by an assignment matrix filled with zeros and ones. The entry phi sub ij of this matrix is equal to 1 if robot I is assigned the goal destination j. Another important point here is that while solving the assignment problem, it must be focused that the trajectories that have to be planned after the solution of assignment problem must be safer. So you can see here that all these trajectories are not intercepting with each other, and these trajectories are collision-free trajectories. Here this vector is showing the individual state vectors of the robots. x1 of t is showing the states of the robot 1, x2 of t is showing the states of robot 2, and similarly it is up to the nth robot. And we have staked all these states into one bigger vector, which is represented by capital X of t. The safety constraint is expressed by this inequality. Assuming the robots are circular or spherical, we require robots I and j to be separated by at least 2 times the radius r. So for all pairs of robots I and j, this inequality must hold. Further, this inequality must hold at all instances of time. And then finally, as before, we would like these trajectories to be optimal. Once again, we assume that there is a functional that describes our measure of optimality, and we are looking for the trajectories that minimize the value of this functional. The key problem is to find the right assignment and to plan the trajectories, and both of these to be done concurrently. On the next slide, we have 4 key ideas to solve the problems that we have just discussed. And these 4 key ideas are: the first one is concurrent assignment of goals and trajectories, the second one is leader-follower networks, the third one is anonymity, and the fourth one is sharing the information. This was all from today's lecture. We will discuss these 4 key ideas in the next lecture.